Well, hello again. This is Katie Joe, and this series is about the Untold Stories of Motherhood, published by Freedom House Publishing. This is a collaboration book with Mother Stories, the stories that we don't often hear but deserve to be shared, and the ones that we need to hear the most. And today I'm sitting with another co-author of mine, Allison Greetham, who is here to share about her chapter in the book, which is so touching. We were on the phone many, many times in tears together as we're getting this book together, because your chapter covers so many facets of motherhood. In the beginning, I was asking, I want mothers to come together. So if you're a stepmom, or you're a birth mom, or you're, this and this and this, is anybody out there? And you're like, hey, I've got a few of those boxes checked, not just one. So I would love for you to just, if you're willing, just kind of, what is the main message, do you feel like, from your chapter? Who do you feel, because I think that when I read it, I think that there's a lot of different, what we call avatars, or people that are reading it that are going to benefit from this. But what do you feel like your main message is that you want to give, or writing the chapter? What's your main purpose behind that?
Being a birth mom, it's one of the subjects that's never talked about. People, they don't know what to say to you, because it's something that's taboo, maybe. I don't know. There's a lot of judgment around it. How can you give up your child? But they don't really understand. We all walk different paths. We're all in different situations. I also, so I want to reach out to those moms that have gone through that, 9 months of pregnancy, knowing that that's not going to be your child. But it's you're making a good decision for that life, and I also want them to know that there are options out there, to where you have a say where your baby goes. And, for me, in my experience, I'm so fortunate to now know where my child is. I've known where she was all the time, basically. The internet, of course, made it, easy to stalk a little bit. But since, we have made contact, and I'm so blessed and relieved to know that she's got the life that I wanted her to have. These beautiful parents, that couldn't have their own child, took this one. And I just believe that she was meant to be theirs. I don't believe that she was really meant to be mine. But she's had the life I wanted for her. And I know that's lucky and doesn't always happen. But choosing to give that child up comes with a lot of, it's not something you just decide overnight. It comes with a lot of grief, a lot of just pain and suffering. But it also comes from a very strong place of love.
Yeah.
And I want those children, adults, to know that that wasn't an easy decision for your mother, for your birth mom. And
that when I read your chapter, the decision was made out of love. It was made out of deep love for this life, and in that place feeling like you couldn't be the one to give this precious life everything that you dreamed for them. And I think that a lot of times that's the intention. Now, like you said, that doesn't, once you place a child or make that decision, you don't have any control after that fact, but the intention always is out of deep love for,
yes, and protection.
yeah.
And, I was in no position at that time to be somebody's mother. I just really wasn't. And I couldn't take care of myself, let alone another life, and I did not want to subject her to that,
Yeah. Which
you
I think
know.
that's why I was so touched by your story, and I feel like so many people are, because I hear a lot of adults who were given away for adoption, and they are always questioning why didn't they want me, and I don't think that that's really the case.
Yeah,
It's not really the case of what occurred. It's that it's that in many ways, in conversations with mothers who have been what's called, I think, the first mother, is it was um, not a matter of wanting, it was a matter of wanting to do the best you could.
yeah. And and like I tell in my story, I mean, I have great family. I could have gone home, I could have, there's all these things, but the fact was, the person I was at the time, the state of mind I was in, even doing that would not have been, we could have stayed together, but it was just not the life I wanted for her.
Well, and I was a pregnant teen, and I ended up keeping my daughter. And the thing is I don't think that I was the mother that she needed at that age. And she's now in her 20s. And I look back at, I did the best I could, but there was a lot of things that were direct ramifications of me not being ready to be a mom that have caused her emotional trauma. And so, I kind of see all sides of that now.
Right.
And the end of the day, you don't know. You're just doing the best that you can with what in the moment you're trying with what you know. And what I also really love about your story is not just that story of the love, and also you have a really beautiful story of being in that place, but what you've also done is you've created a successful business. You're a very successful businesswoman. You're engaged to be married to a wonderful man right now. But before now, you also got to step into the role of being a stepmother and also being a mother for many other women who, there's a few listed in the chapter, but you show up as a mother figure for more than just the ones listed you show up for. And you navigate and talk about the intricacies of being a stepmom and how challenging that can be. So I think this chapter also speaks to those moms out there that feel like, what am I supposed to do and how am I supposed to mothers? And there's these children that have two mothers. There's so much behind your chapter that is so valuable for people to hear and to know that they're going to come out on the other side okay with that. And I think that that's a big part of your story, is just there's a hopelessness in the beginning, not that your chapter was written that way, but identifying with that.
No, it was definitely hopelessness there for a while.
And now you're here at this stage in your life. I mean, looking back, what is that kind of what we've already talked about, or what do you really feel like now you're at this place where you can see the perspective looking back? What would your message be? And I think your chapter tells it, but really, if you were going to bottom line it, what would that be?
We all go through this life, and I have the benefit now of being here almost 60 years. And the road I've traveled, it really is about, we're all going to make mistakes the whole way, especially mothers, because our children come into this world individually. I mean, there's no book written. I mean, there's plenty of things to tell you how to do this, but they all have their own personalities and stories and journeys. And, the things that I've learned really is to just, we're here to kind of herd them. It's tough, find somebody to that you can confide in, talk to somebody. Though I've been very blessed to have great women in my family. I have a place, I have a soft place to land, and I don't think a lot of us do.
Mhm.
And so and even though it's hard things to talk about, I was able to talk about Katie with my family, my birth daughter, and and she's 38 years old now, but she's never been a secret. It's never been, it's always been an open, and hopefully the next generations, because we have like 2 behind me now, learn from that, find a confidant, find somebody that you can confide in, that you can share what you're going through with, because I would have never, it's where you find forgiveness too, for yourself, is because I think a lot of the time when we can't forgive ourselves, it's because we haven't, we're afraid to speak our truth to anybody because of the judgment that we fear.
Yeah.
And so, it's just the truth for me. It's just the truth. And if you want to make a judgment on that, that's on you. I can't, I'm the one that has to live with my choices.
Yeah.
So and it's hard to do until if you just have to be able to process it and understand, and again, know the reasons that you did what you did, and then don't repeat.
Well, and when we talk about speaking our truth, and I think that's why this book also exists, because it's like the things that we don't share about motherhood, we just keep secrets. I know you talk a little bit in your chapter about going through postpartum, but you couldn't really talk about it because it was, this shameful thing. And I just spoke to Lauren, another author on here, and that came up a little bit too. But what I've seen when we're willing to speak our truth and really be open and authentic, as the more and more of us do this, then there's not the taboo around it. And what I have observed in my own life is the people that have judged me for speaking my truth and walked away did me a service.
Absolutely.
And ironically, as the years have gone on, I've had many of them come back with not necessarily apologies, but with a reverence, if you will, of just thank you for having the courage to be who you are authentically. And now I'm at a different place in my life, and I honor you, because that took a lot of courage, knowing who I was at the time, being so judgmental and condemning. So it's a full circle process that ends up coming together when people are willing to be bold and sincere. So,
yeah, and just tell the truth.
yeah, and
It's
then
so much easier.
you know who your people are. You just do.
Yeah.
You know who your people are, and you know who your ride or die people are, and everyone needs to know who their real friends are.
Yeah.
As far as getting a hold of you or getting contact with you, if they want to reach out and get an autographed book, how can they find you? And you are a phenomenal realtor in Utah. You're one of the top realtors in Utah, and you really fight for the buyer, fight for the seller. You are an advocate, and you are one of the best in the business. So if people are connected with your heart and soul and your truth, how can they find you?
Well, I am a realtor with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Elite. You can find me on Facebook, just Allison Miller Greetham, or Realtor Allison. I'm there. My billboard's up in Spanish Fork. You can if you drive south, you can see me. That was so funny at family reunion last weekend. All my cousins, I didn't know you had a billboard. It was great. But I'm pretty accessible. Just Google me. I usually pop up my number, my email, my address, I would love to help anybody who's questioning what the market and that right now, because it is a difficult market. And now with rates going up, it's starting to change again, but it's not changing in the way, it's just it's getting a little bit more complicated. So if you don't call me, I just recommend that, if you're buying or selling, please call a professional. Don't try to do this on your own. It's tough enough for us to navigate.
Okay.
So, and you'll know when it's your house. Soon as you walk, when you walk through that door, you're going to know it's yours. And if you don't, it might not be. And if you start running into a whole lot of issues, it's probably not.
Perfect.
I've learned that over 20 years of this business, and it's how I found my own home. So
I love it. Well, I'm excited. I'm so excited. And I'm so, so, so grateful. Thank you for being part of this book. This was so challenging for all of the authors to write. And this was so, I want to say, soul cleansing. In the middle of it, you and me both were like in the yard on the floor on the grass crying.
It's like, what are we doing?
But
it's been so healing. It's been so healing. I thought most of these things I had healed, and I found myself finding compassion for things that I hadn't in the past. You know, other women through my story that, you know, I had to really swallow hard. And so I got to heal a lot of things for myself through this.
And you also had some, because I know for a fact that some of these daughters of yours that you have raised and stepped in and been there for, have even reached out to me about how healing this has been for them to read your chapter and really see you with depth and compassion and gratitude. So, you know, this is a healing process, and it's amazing if it can support anybody out there in the world, but just doing it and healing your own heart and your own family, I think, is the biggest value. So thank you for that.
No, thank you.
Well,
I love you so much.
well, I love you too. And we'll see you soon. And we're putting together an author summit online, which is, I don't want to say the date because I don't remember, but I'm also looking to create a venue here in July where the authors will be live to do speaking as well as book signing in person. So stay tuned, and I hope you can make it to that. So
I'll let you know my Lake Powell dates.
yeah, we'll schedule around that. All right, well, we're going to sign off. If all of you who watched the video, thank you for getting this far. There's some more Untold Story videos on YouTube, but also you can find the book on Amazon or reach out to Allison for an autographed copy. Thank you.
Thank you, my friend.